Jaime,
Cruz,
welcome back, my friend.
welcome back. It's been a while.
It's been a while. I've been trying to avoid you. I don't know if you noticed.
That's true. Yeah. I get limited visitation.
Due to the courts, yeah.
Yeah.
You get visitation rights. You know what the best part, though, is?
What is it?
We got Ben this time.
It's true. This has been.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, man. So we've been talking about getting you on here for, like, weeks now, huh?
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Except
Last week was a blizzard.
We had a blizzard for that one. The week before that,
I was
something
working.
happened. You worked, and then something happened with us where we were like, we got to stop because it was like 2 or 3 weeks we didn't record. We're like, crap. But now you're here
Now,
with us. We appreciate you being here.
good to be here.
Speaking of, we brought you here so we can talk about fun. Because
Sounds
I know
fun.
how much we like to have fun at work. Or in general.
Don't let the bosses know that.
Fun is outlawed. You're not supposed to have fun at work. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that and a lot of other things, but
Yeah. It is what it is, though.
we make it work.
Right. But speaking of, we do make it work, and you're right. Even me and Adam were joking around about how tired we were today, especially with the time change and stuff like that, too.
That was like 2 weeks ago.
Dude, it takes, like, I don't know if it's just an internal thing or what, and I know there's people out there, too, but that affects me so hard. Like,
I mean, like, yeah, the day after I was upset because I should have gone to bed 2 hours earlier than I did, but I'm fine now. Now I'm just tired.
Right.
It's just life.
yeah. It's just like, for me, everything still feels kind of off because, like, it's lighter later.
Oh, I got used to that so fast. I was so ready for it.
I mean, I open 4:30 all the time, so it's still dark to me no matter what. But then when I go to bed, it's lighter now, and it throws me off a little bit, so I have to make sure everything is...
Oh, well, because you're going to bed at like 8.
Freaking should be going to bed at 8, yeah. Maybe that's my problem.
Yeah, no, my old bake shifts used to start at like 4. I had no social life.
Yeah, it's all good. I really do like those opening shifts, though, those 4:30 ones. It's so awesome.
It's nice to just get over and done with, for sure.
Mhm. I mean, I was out at noon today.
Well, not bad.
This coming up Monday, I'm out at 11.
Well, good for you, not good for the company.
Yeah, it's good for all of us. The longer I'm there, the more problems I cause.
Oh, very true. You just get tired and you just start caring, and you're just like, I'm not fixing it.
Yeah, but like you said, though, we make fun.
Yeah.
We make it fun as best as we can.
You gotta. You spend more time there than you do with your family, so you gotta make it work.
Oh my gosh, that was...
Yeah, 40 hours a week, man. You spend a lot of time at work when you think about it.
Man, that just blew my mind, dude. I didn't think about it like that before. I didn't think about that at all, actually.
Yeah.
You know what's fun?
What?
Blueberry pancake coffee.
If you say so. I haven't tried it yet. Is it cold yet? Still good?
That last part was
Still good?
still good. Cold. Not as good as when it was hot, but
Cold blueberry pancakes.
it's good.
It works.
Hey, still tastes like blueberry, too. Damn, this is good. I want another one.
I got something so plain, my usual like vanilla latte.
Yeah. Well, even when I went up to there, I was like, what do you normally drink? She goes, I'm so boring. I just drink straight black coffee. I'm like, whew,
Yeah.
that's intense. Like, cool. She said, but I would recommend this. I was like, I'll take it.
Cruz doesn't do the black coffee.
I rarely do coffee. I like tea. I really like mates.
Now, see, I'm different. I'll drink dirt water, coffee, but I will not. I'm not a big tea guy.
What was it? There's this thing going around Facebook recently. They're these like little 4-panel comics. These aliens. I don't know if you've been posting those lately. Dude, I've been loving those, and I just saw one my sister sent to me, and it was would you like some boiling water over dead leaves? It's like, sure. He takes it and just freaking tea. He's pouring it over there. He's like, would you like some? Or what did he ask him? Crystalline glucose. He's like, yes, about 1,000, please. Just add some sugar to it. I was like, oh my god. I was talking to my mom about those a couple of days ago. She's like, I don't get them. I don't get half of them. I was like, what? I was like, what do you mean you don't get them? I don't understand half of them. I was like, oh, well, that sucks. I'm sorry. So we were explaining a few of them to her. My brother was cracking up because they're all amazing. She's like, maybe I need to say it in a robot voice and I'll understand it. We're like, what do you mean a robot voice? She goes, well, that's how it sounds like they're talking. I'm like, no, they're aliens.
Well, you got to think of what their future was more robotic. So things that wouldn't understand human concepts are robots. And now us, it's more of like, okay, well, if we're going anywhere in space at this point, the robots are here.
The robots are here. I mean, yeah, look at I got this mini one right here.
Yeah, you know.
That's probably actually listening to us as we talk.
Oh, for sure.
It's like, why did you say that? That was dumb. My favorite one though that we had seen was these two little aliens were eating. It's like, you're gonna like the sustenance. No, you can't be doing that right now. You're gonna jack it up.
You're gonna ruin your dinner, basically.
Yep. And then the dad one was like, offspring, listen to your life giver. I was like, no longer calling your mom. She's no life giver.
Nope. we have evolved beyond that.
Beyond mother. They're so good though. They make me laugh so much. And they're like 4 little stupid little panels, and I was like, this is great. This is so great.
Those short comics on like Facebook, Instagram, and stuff, they're really getting up there in game, because it's just like they convey a message in such a short amount of time, but they're usually great.
Yeah, man, these ones they're so good. I can't even get over it. It's great. Anyway, what I was getting at with that was that they're really fun to read, and I have no idea why. I think it's just because I like aliens in general. But when we were in game design school, one of the topics that we were taught were how to create fun in games, and it's, how would you explain it easily? More like
layman's terms.
Yeah. How do you capture players? Like, what entices them to play your game, for example, and what keeps them there? And even me and like Kyle are constantly talking about games at work, like every single day.
Oh yeah.
And the most recent one we were talking about was is it Crackdown? No, it was the second of some game that's already. I have no idea. Anyway, there was a game that just came out. The sequel to it just came out, and he was playing it. He's like, I played the crap out of the first one. It was amazing. He was super hyped for this one. He played it. They're like just like grinding through it. He's like, it's really not all that fun. I'm like, well, why not? He's like, because I think I overplayed the first one.
Well, I mean, at that point, it sounds like they didn't do a good enough job developing a story for the second one.
Right, or they're using too much of the old game. We've seen issues like that with some games.
Kind of like a stitched together game.
Yeah, or even like you can even think of it like movies. For example, the newest trilogy of Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
How it had the Force Awakens and then the Last Jedi. I was like, Force Awakens, everyone was super hyped for it, and they're just happy there's new Star Wars.
Yeah.
And then like, oh my god, another one's coming out, and then it kind of because like
now the third one, and it's just kind of like, all right, maybe this wasn't good.
So far, sounds good. They just finally released a teaser trailer for it because it comes out at the end of the year.
I haven't seen that one yet.
It came out like
the trailer
maybe a day ago. Like it's still super new, but it looks cool. There's not much going on because it's only a teaser.
Yeah,
but yeah. What's some of your things you like to do for fun?
I play video games a fair amount. I can't sit there and grind like most people.
Casual gamer?
Yeah. I mean, I picked up Red Dead 2, and I do nothing but ride a horse around and rob things. I still haven't beaten the game, like, for real.
Living the cowboy life.
Yeah, exactly. It's a great horse riding simulator. I love it.
It's true. You played that one, right, Jaime?
Oh, yeah.
Did you like it?
Oh, I loved it. I love the story.
So I was going to say, what was the best part? Was the story?
I love the story, and the side missions are, like, elaborate. You know, I love it.
That's
love
awesome.
It all, yeah.
And I'm torn when it comes to that game. Because
why?
First off, I never played the first or this one. Or even the
So that's the good thing. You can play this one and then just go right into the first one,
right.
And it literally just whoop.
Right. So I never played them, but I watched, like, I like when there's games I can't play. For example, I haven't bought a console since the 360 because because all my games are on PC now because I'm a PC gamer now, and so
I want to make that switch. It's just expensive.
Oh yeah, it definitely is. This is my third computer I've built, And so like the first one I was like just getting into it, so it was like a little laptop that couldn't run crap, but it was still cool because I'm like, oh cool, my first one, like yay,
I built something.
right? And then the second one was like just this massive beefy laptop. It weighed like 17 pounds. It was the biggest one I ever made. Had 2 separate hard drives.
What is the point of building a 17-pound laptop?
Because it was built for games. And back then, like since I was still kind of new at it, it was still like, because I got the parts through Alienware.
Oh.
And so I was like, oh, these are the things.
You dumped some money into
right?
it.
before Dell bought them over. They were awesome
Yeah, they
parts
were good.
and stuff like that. And I think it was graduation money I had. So I was like, yeah, it's going to a computer.
There you go.
So I put it into the computer. Got to finally get into PC gaming, like actual PC gaming.
Yeah, being able to do it and be competitive with it.
It was gorgeous. That, and then this one I built recently is my first full-size tower, like full-size tower.
There you
And
go.
It can do everything. I nicknamed it Skynet because it can do everything.
Oh
And
God,
my little
don't.
wife- Too late. It's already too late.
Well, like, I don't know what it is. Just side tangent real quick.
Yeah.
Look it up. The military has an AI that's going to be flying drones in like the next 2 years, and they don't call it Skynet, but it's like Sky something. And I'm just like,
Precursor.
this is too close. This is where we need to stop.
It's a precursor for sure.
I saw it on Facebook like 2 days ago, and I was just like,
That will, even when they were trying to say that like Amazon can deliver your packages via drone, and then people were saying like then you can get your pizzas delivered via drone. I'm like, why? First off,
I don't know if it's gonna. I mean, like Domino's has that little like driver one that'll like pull
Is that
up
a
to your
real
house.
thing?
Yeah, they've tested it in places, but it's
What?
kind of like the same idea as the UPS truck. Like it pulls up, it has a drone in it, and then like they fly to the different houses. Amazon's is more warehouse based, but I do have a friend whose friend has a huge yard, and they were able to actually get the beta service for it. And he said it was the coolest thing. You order something, and like 20 minutes later, this big drone just drops it off and leaves. Yeah. So you want a new pair of shoes for tonight? There you go.
it was 20 minutes or
It-
a short amount of time.
Yeah, it was like 20, 30 minutes, he said, before the drone got there and dropped it off and left. And again, it's got to be like certain things in the warehouse, and it's still very beta because the FAA is kind of like sketched about it.
It's creepy.
Yeah. But I
Which
mean,
makes total sense.
you need a license to even fly small drones nowadays. They've gotten really heavy about it.
Yeah, makes sense though. Privacy and everything.
Yeah.
Damn, dude, that Jaime,
Mm.
order something real quick.
Let's order something right now. Stop everything. Put everything down.
It just drops it off in the parking lot.
A new camera right now. Well, you're add a tripod and a charging port and
And also a drone.
a what?
A drone.
And a drone. Have a drone
Have the drone
delivered.
deliver a drone.
Getting pretty meta here.
Right. When we were talking about setting up that event, I was telling you later in the year, one of the things that we can do with the system that we're using too is do it via drone, and it communicates to the iPad.
Yeah. And just have it
That's
like
cool.
bird's eye view.
Yeah, because it's a football game. So
Yeah.
it'd be super cool to see the whole game from like sky.
Be able to
and
actually see
crowd and
plays.
Everything, yeah. Because the way it's set up, we're in like in a stadium. So even if we just set up the normal cameras, we're still gonna have really good angles.
Yeah.
But having the drone, holy crap, that
Whole
would be
nother level.
Super cool.
Well, you see how the NFL does it. They got the wires that like run over the
that is
field
awesome,
and
too.
stuff,
I
and they're
like that.
running cameras.
I never when I first saw that, like for the first time ever, when I went to a football game, I was like, "What is that thing? Why is it floating there?" And then I realized there was wires. I was like, "Oh, duh,
Magic.
dumb." But those are cool. Those are super cool. And they're just a lot of fun. Like we have micro drones. Me and my dad have little tiny ones, like about this big or so.
Oh.
And you can't go very high with it because any amount of wind will like make it go all.
Oh yeah,
because it weighs nothing.
Weighs nothing.
But those ones are cool. So we were flying them around the house for Christmas one year and like crashing them into stuff. It was great. It was cool because it looks like a little like it looks like a bug, like
Huh.
the little model of it. It has like these crazy little eyes.
Oh, that's
on
funny.
it when you're recording, because that's a tiny camera too. When you're recording, the eyes will turn red.
Oh.
Yes, that's so good. Those are cool
Oh.
though. But we were thinking if we get that drone, Jaime's gonna have to practice with it.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun.
He basically does everything
It's true.
Hey.
Everything.
because I tell him to.
Oh my gosh. Get on with it.
Oh my gosh. But yeah. What do you like to do for fun outside of games? Hiking?
Yeah, I
You're a
like
big
to
outdoors
hike.
guy, huh?
Yeah, I'm a big outdoors guy. Any chance I can get, I like to go. Excited that the weather's non-avalanche season anymore.
Right. But it's Colorado, so.
Yeah, I'm getting used to that. That was something I didn't have to deal with in the South.
Where are you from?
I'm from Florida.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, a little
Florida
different.
man.
Tiny different. Tiny bit
And
different.
yes, the stories are true. That stuff does happen. 90% of it, at least.
Good to know. I may write that down for
Yeah,
future reference.
Writing down. It is the South.
It is, because Jaime's from Texas.
Yeah.
How do you feel about all the, what am I trying to say?
I don't know.
Are you used to Colorado weather yet?
No, not
Still
at
not?
all. I mean, of course, like it'd be crazy weather in Texas, like where morning would be so cold, daytime would be like a desert, and then nighttime would be kind of chilly again. So, like, of course, weather's just all around crazy. But I mean,
Plus tornadoes.
yeah, that too. Those are fun. Those are fun in elementary school. I remember those vividly.
Have you been in a tornado?
Yeah, a couple. I remember, like, I think it was like elementary when I was in elementary. Like, they didn't happen very often when I was in high school, though. It was weird.
Because you were
Yeah.
older.
I guess so.
It's like, yeah, we're gonna leave
yeah,
him alone.
we're gonna leave them alone. We'll skip on to the next person. We'll bring him to Colorado. And that's
We'll just give him all the other seasons in one day.
Yeah, right? I mean, like, look at this jacket that I left wearing in the house. I'm sweating when I go back outside, I'm sure.
Probably, yeah. So I wore this morning I wore like a crazy, like a thicker hoodie because it's chilly in the morning, especially
Yeah.
the time I get in there. And then I work for a little bit. I'm in the store all day, so then I'm like, all right, take it off. And then I went to put my hoodie back on as I was leaving. I'm like, oh, dying already. I'm like, what happened? While I was in there. That's crazy. When me and Jaime were developing games, one of our teachers was teaching us about how to create fun for like players, and we made a I don't know if we ever showed you the game I was working on.
I've seen little bits of it on Facebook and stuff, but never actually, like, in person.
We were making a third person shooter called Seeking Salvation. It was like me and my partner Dylan started it, and then during my senior classes we took it farther, and we ended up having a team of like 20 different students
Whoa.
all throughout different departments in the school. So we had audio students, we had video students. We were supposed to get graphic design, but that never ended up happening, so we went elsewhere for graphic design because none of us are graphic designers. At least at that point in time we weren't. But and then a ton of like 3D modelers and level designers, that's who Jaime is. He's my level designer. He's like the main one. And but one of the key concepts that we were always talking about was how to create fun. So how do you bring that player in? How do you keep them there? And I think for us at the beginning, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but the fact that we were just making it, like we made that, was fun.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it was like, oh man, like you're just on freaking keyboard and mouse, and you're like, okay, start, and then it just like loads in. You're just there, and then you hear the enemy start coming. You're like, oh, it's working. Cool.
I've done something right.
Right. And then each step after that, we were just like, all right, no, add a main menu. No, add like sound effects, like better sound effects. And then it came to the point where we were doing voice acting for it. So you have the announcers like, oh, you think you can stop us? We'll try this. And then you'll hear the buzzer start, and then all the enemies will start coming at you. Then it started coming together. And we're like, holy crap, we're making a game. But I think that part to me was really fun, just
it was
developing
super fun.
in general, because it started off as like a smaller concept. It was still like a wave-based game.
Mhm.
And me and my partner both made one level each, and that was it. We turned it in. That was cool. Then as we went on, we defined those levels. Like, we're gonna redefine my lava level more so it fits the aesthetic, because at the beginning we're like, I don't know, let's just make this level cool, and then made
Yeah.
that level, and then developed more of the story. And then by the time we're at this point, like today, we have 8 levels? How many levels we got? 6?
6, yeah.
6 levels. We have a more defined story, what's happening. We have the bad guys, like we know what their motives are. We have 2 different voice actors. Well, voice actors, it's me and one of our character designers and 3D modelers. We pretty much forced her to do voice recording because she was the only female in the group, and my teacher's like, you know what you got to do? We're like, what? You make her record the... She goes, what?
Yeah, she didn't want you at the beginning, right?
Mm-mm. No, and I think it helped too. First off, I told her she had to because I was team lead, and then
Some people just need a push.
I don't want to. I'm like, no, you're gonna do this. And then our teacher's like, yeah, you need to do that. It's like, yes. So then we sent her to the audio guys because we had like a $250,000 recording studio there, $500,000 recording studio.
Something, yeah.
Whoa.
So like legit. So we got in there and all the audio guys were like, all right, this is what you got to do. I had like lines already ready for her, so all she had to do was read them. And it was cool. She was our first villain in the
There you
game.
go.
And she was just like, did you ever play Team Fortress?
Little bit, not much.
So do you remember the announcer, the older lady that was
Yeah.
always like cynical?
Yeah.
That's kind of what we based her off of, and kind of like GLaDOS from Portal. Like it was a mix
Okay.
between those. She was just always kind of like, ugh, whatever, like
Just very mad all the time.
all the time, yeah. Until she won, and then she was just more monotone, like normal. But it was cool. It fit her because she didn't want to do it anyway. So it was kind of like
It was coming through in the recording.
it was great. So she did it. I think I had a script for her for about, I don't know, 20-ish lines that she had to say. And it was like the round starting, the round ending, and then game over, basically. Like, that's how I sectioned them out. So when the round started, she's like, well, try and fight us. Like, you think you're going to beat us? Like, try it. Kind of stuff like that. And then when the round ended, it was like, that was dumb luck. Like, just kind of mocking the player the whole time. And then, actually, I'm mistaken. 3 voice actors, which I'll get to. And then the one was game over, so when you died, she was, like, laughing, like, see, told you couldn't beat us, like, stuff like that. And we're like, oh, all right. So on that mission of us trying to figure out how to create fun in our game, I was like, I always liked games that it felt like not only were you, like, the player playing the game, but almost felt like personally attacked by the enemy. It was like, oh, yeah, I told you couldn't do this. I'm like, good. Press play, let's do this again.
Got to get underneath people's skin.
Right. Even just a tiny bit. And she had, like, the perfect persona for it, too. Like, it really ended up fitting really well with her and that character, huh?
Oh yeah. Very
So-
sarcastic.
Very, yeah, that's the perfect way to explain it. She was very sarcastic. And it was cool when it kind of evolved from there. I did the next villain, and he was more like, the way I portrayed this character was, he's like the big, like, kind of brute boss, but super dumb. So I tried to make sure that all of my words and stuff when I was doing my sentences were kind of broken English. It's like, you can't use like, I can't even remember my lines anymore from that. It was a while ago. But it's just like, you think you're gonna do that? Like, gonna, and stuff like that. Like, just
All muscle, no brain.
pretty much, yeah. And he was just like high energy, no thought process. So I remember too, the audio guys were like, step back from the mic a bit. I was like, okay, why? He's like, well, you're yelling, but instead of us having to edit the volume down, just step back and it'll be perfect. So, all right. So he's like, I told you. Like, so same concept, like the start and the end.
Get the
round
microphone
stuff.
out of your mouth, Cruz.
Yeah, stop yelling into it like this. Yeah. And so I had to take it like a step back, and I'm like, gotcha. Like, stuff like that. It was just cool, and it was just like, this character needs to yell at the player, like, completely
Yeah.
opposite of her character. And I can see them interacting, because I had to write, like, freaking being a team lead was crazy. There were so many, like, admin things where I don't envy any of the team leaders at work.
No, I've worked there for 4 years. I will not move up from where I am. I like the amount of responsibility I don't have at the
Right,
moment.
yeah. I definitely got a crash course in all of that. Schedules, we did time cards. That was our grades. So every week we did time cards. So everyone had to fill it out, give it to me. I had to make sure everything was right, and then turn it into our teacher. He was our
So just like an
producer.
honor system?
Yeah, basically. So it was just like
Because, I mean, we used to have that at one of the gas stations I worked at, and I was late.
yeah,
A
and
lot.
It
It never showed.
Fair enough. But for us, it showed because I was like, okay, here's our schedule. I made a schedule because our classes were once a week for 4 hours, and we had 11 weeks to complete the project. And then the term ended, and we started the next term, right? So I made a schedule, 11-week schedule. Like, this is what we need to do each week. And so when they turned in their timesheets, they told me and showed me what they worked on, gave me renders of their models, that kind of stuff, turned everything in. And honestly, it was really fun. Like, I loved doing that part, because then I was like, all right, well, everything's delegated, so what do I do? I'm like, I need to make sure I'm on top of my game so that if they come to me with questions, I can answer them. Because we came across a lot of problems, like, why is this model importing weird? Like, well, let's start from the basics. Like, is it on the right scales? That kind of stuff, because the grid changed between the programs.
Yeah, start at the easy thing, work your way to the hard thing.
Which we came across a lot of hard things that took us about a week or two to figure out.
Whoa.
But we ended up figuring it out, which was great. Because at that point, actually, no, period, we were the biggest student-ran team to create a game in that school.
Whoa.
The one before us that made a game that was about our size, a little smaller but functional, was maybe 6 people, and we had 20 plus different departments.
Wow.
So that was fun.
So you had like just 20 people within your own department?
20 total, so it was the 4 departments, and I think 11 of them, 11 to 15 were 3D modelers and level designers. So it was mostly the game department.
Yeah.
And then we had audio students. We had, it was probably closer to 10 because we had about 8 audio students, and they were all good at something different, which is great. So I'm like, okay. They're like, what do you need? I'm like, when you're designing a game, there's a lot of stuff that we don't even think about. Like, for example, we had like basic gun sounds. I was like, well, do you have a sound effect for picking up ammo? Think about that. Do you have a sound effect for when your gun is empty? I was like, no, that's a good idea, but it just didn't come across right. It's like first things we thought of were like, okay, footsteps because he runs. When you pull the trigger, you want to hear it fire. So then we like just dove into it. We made like zombie noises. Like I remember being in the booth and going, like just freaking 15, 20 takes of that. I was like, I even messed up and did something weird. I don't even remember what I did. I just like something like that. And they stopped it and they went, what? I was like, I don't know. Maybe I'm an old zombie. I don't know.
Man of ideas.
Right. But
Grandpa Zombs.
Grandpa Zombs. But it was just cool, and it was just a really good time trying to make all that. But in a roundabout way, what I'm trying to say is when you play a game or do something, what do you seek in it to consider it fun for you?
So, since we're on video games, let's stick there. I play arguably pretty boring video games outside of like Red Dead, which I probably don't play in the traditional sense. I play like simulators, like Train Simulator.
Cool.
It's literally driving a train and making the stops, or freight, whatever you happen to choose. But it's complicated. There's so many little things inside of the game just to even start going forward.
Yeah.
And be able to move. And then you stop.
Because it's as accurate as possible to an actual...
It's dumbed down to a high degree. I mean, everything's very simple. It's all controlled, and you scroll over stuff, and it shows you what it does. If you don't necessarily know what it is, you won't know what it does, but you learn eventually. But there's things like most of the trains are electric. So you'll pull into a station, stop, and then if you don't do something right, the train just stalls. And like you haven't lost the game, but now you're well behind on its schedule.
Yeah.
And
which is like real life.
Yeah.
So if you get to stay on your schedule, you
exactly.
You gotta make everything correct, or else you throw everything else off.
Yep. So like at that point, I'll just restart, but I can't figure out how to get the train to move again.
After
I was moving fine. Yeah. And it stops. You get to the big diesel ones, like those are easy. You turn it back on. It's like a car basically, but 10 times heavier.
Yeah.
And then there's another one that's not so much a simulator, but it is a game. It's called Mud Runner. The game is to open garages, expose a map, and deliver logs to a lumber mill. But it's a physics simulator, and you are trudging through mud, getting stuck, falling off of cliffs, and I can't just take my car and zap it back to the garage. If I fall down the edge of a cliff, I have to go find another car to try and drag that truck up.
Whoa.
Yeah. I mean, arguably, it's boring to sit there and do, but I have a blast just having to figure things out. And just having to think about it.
So, is it more technical simulators you like playing, or is it any?
It's
just a simulator in general.
It's definitely a little more technical. Ones that I enjoy. I do like the really easy ones just for their visual aesthetics. I mean, that's kind of another cool thing about the train simulator. In service mode, I can get off of my train once I'm done and get onto another one. I can ride, I can drive, I can just walk around train stations if I want. but the game dynamically moves around what you decide to do. So if I sit down, I can sit in a car in a passenger seat and drive that same rail through like the German mountains. So it's like there's definitely that mode where I think more like something like Ship Simulator. I like more for the visual aesthetics and just kind of set like a waypoint and let it go and just have fun with whatever's going on.
Yeah.
But it's definitely more when I'm looking to do something. I like the technical aspect about having to think about what you want to do or how you're going to do it, or
knowing that there's a consequence if you don't do it right.
Yeah. So like in Mud Runner, there's one called, I want to say it's called Downhill. You have a switchback mountain, and to get to the garage at the bottom and to open it, you need 4 garage points. I can make 4 trips from this garage to that one, or I can slap a big 18-wheeler on the map and try and drag this thing down switchbacks. I've done it, but it's not easy.
But so is it the challenge part of that you find most interesting? Like, because I rarely play simulators. I can't even think of the most recent simulator I played. Grass growing simulator, maybe. Just kidding.
Just sit there and stare.
Which is actually great on Steam. I don't know why anyone would pay for that, but hey,
that's a real game.
That's a real game. You literally camera angles. You can just look at the grass and you see it growing super slow, almost real life.
So that is one thing about Train Simulator I'm not a fan of. You can go to start another service and it might not leave for 20 minutes.
Real time?
And the in-game counter will count 20 minutes.
Whoa.
It's not synced up with like time of day.
Yeah.
But it is 20 minutes. And it's just like, all right, I'm going to quit back to the main menu, start a new one.
Let's try this again.
But no, it probably is the technical challenge behind it and like opening up those like garages and
cool.
like getting down there. And of course you just pick the path of most resistance to make it hard.
Yep. If you're crazy. No, that's cool. Which, yep, there we go. How many do you play simulators?
I never play simulators. I've always wanted to like try to see like what all the fuss is about, but never actually dabbled.
He plays dating simulators.
Oh, you better believe it. No, I do not.
Your secret is safe. Oh, wait, never mind.
Until this is released.
Deleting it. Shutting it down now.
Well, that's all the time we have. No, that's cool. I know I can't even think of a simulator I've played. I know I've played them before because I kind of like everything, a little bit of everything. But
I mean, your main 3 are probably Flight Simulator, Ship, and
I've definitely
Train.
done a flight one before just to kind of see, because I think it was set up like a demo at Best Buy or something.
Yeah, that's probably about right. Yeah, they had the throttle control, and
that was super cool. I couldn't do it to save my life, literally. But
people like that one because it's online.
Dude,
like,
so yeah, there's a guy I follow on YouTube who I guess was an actual like airline pilot, so he knows like all the terms. I know nothing about it.
So he's like sitting on the runway, like calling out what he wants to do
to mission control. It's usually just another random player, and they're like, yeah, you're good. And he's like, I'm sorry, air traffic control. Can you repeat that? Yeah, you're good. He, what do you mean I'm good? Like he'll keep going technical on it and like call out all these numbers and like where he's going, what his number is of his plane, like, and everything, like clear for takeoff. And the guys are just always like, yeah, sure, whatever you want to do. And he's like, and then he'll like start getting into them, like, what's your badge number? And they'll start making stuff up. He's like, all right, let me hold on. And he's like writing all this stuff down. Like, it is so legit. And like some people just be flying all crazy in the background. He goes, air traffic control, do you see what I'm seeing right now? He's like super low flying. He's like, is that plane is flying upside down, yes. But he's funny. I can't remember his name. I'll have to look it up. But that's one of the ones where I'm like, I can get into a simulator if it was someone who was role-playing, almost. And I guess, to me, what I would consider also a simulator, almost like RPGs, like a D&D, Pathfinder, Gloomhaven, as I'm looking at it right behind you. It's it's a technical term, I guess it is a board game, but it's a board game version of like an RPG. So like a D&D or a Pathfinder. You make a character, you have a character sheet and everything. You guys have certain abilities that you can use, but only so many times. That kind of stuff, kind of like
Okay.
you're really playing. But I would consider RPG as a simulator. Would you, to an extent? So I know like simulator, like I know the technical is like a simulation of something in real life, but I would consider an RPG almost being a simulator, as in like I'm simulating like me being a warrior or a mage or
I think the concept's the same.
Yeah.
For sure. You're just simulating things that are fictional.
yeah. And it's more focused on, of course, that role play. Like I'm playing this role as
Yeah.
a healer or this barbarian. Like one of the ones I've been playing in that game actually was it's called a brute, and I named him I Am Brute.
Of course. The only logical name.
Right, because there's a little guy named he's a tinkerer. He's like the mechanic, and he's really tiny. And so my buddy named
I'm
him.
not tiny.
Small. Sorry.
Background, I went to school for automotive technology.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I think we talked about that actually.
Yeah, we have before.
I
I like to tinker.
like to tinker. Me too. I like. Man, there's so many like even like this setup that we got going on here. I think what was a span of what 5 days, 6 days.
Getting it all together.
Because it was like all of a sudden we're like, yeah, we're doing this. What? Yeah, okay, we're doing this. When do we need it ready for the first event that we did? And it was like Monday, and it was like we need it ready by Friday or Saturday. I'm like, okay, so Amazon Prime came in handy.
Amazon 2-day shipping.
Yes, seriously. So my buddy hooked me up with a bunch of stuff from Best Buy. I was like, sweet. Found this guy on Amazon. Found that guy on Amazon. I had the mics already. We had to get cables from Amazon. I think we got these from Amazon. All the tripods. Like, it was a scramble. But I was like having the time of my life doing it, because every time a new part would come in, I was like,
Yeah,
Yes.
here's more.
but I find that really enjoyable, like doing stuff like that. That's why I think I built so many computers up to this point, and that's why each one keeps getting massively crazier, because I'm like, what else can we do with this? So
How can I one-up this now?
Yeah, seriously. And I'm just competing against myself, which I guess is fine, but it's my tower is big enough to hold a max of 35 hard drives. It can max out at 128 gigs of RAM. It's liquid cooled. Like,
That's dangerous.
it's insane, right? And that look you gave me, all my friends, why? Because I can? Like, literally the only answer I have,
Because I like running water next to my electronics.
right? Hey,
It
cools
sounds
down,
nice.
man.
It's soothing.
It's super soothing, yeah. I can even drink it. It's great if I'm thirsty. I'm just kidding. Gross. No, it's a closed system, so I don't actually have to refill or see it, because I don't like the open system ones. 'Cause
And
then
I guess
can't
it's
move
not
it.
getting hot enough to really boil anything off.
No, it's not, because the only thing, so a lot of PCs like that can run tubes to whatever part they want to cool, right? I'm only doing CPU. Like, it's just cooling the CPU.
And you're just fan cooling everything else?
Mhm.
That works.
Yeah, which at that point it's barely creating any heat anyway, because it's so
Yeah.
open. Like, it's already just cool because it's not contained like most of the towers you've seen before, with like the mid towers,
Full
even the small
closed
ones.
cases, yeah.
It's a ton of room. I have a glass plating on the sides you can see into it with the full RGB, because everything I have is RGB. Like, I will, if I have 2 keyboards, this one's RGB but this one's a better keyboard, I will go with the RGB because aesthetically it's better. Like,
Brand loyalty, man.
right? Yeah. Speaking Razer, sponsor me. And HyperX actually with these headphones. Like, everything I have, let's see, keyboard and mouse are both Razer Chroma, so everything, they all light up and they sync to each other. I have all the RGB in the tower itself all sync up to the keyboard and mouse also, so everything's the same color flashing, and it's crazy. Like, even my brother's like, I can't type on your keyboard. I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, I can't focus because it's like just
Yeah, I think that would get to me
all these
too.
colors. It got to me for like a week, and now I don't even see it.
And you're just like, I'm just gonna put up with it.
It's just because I'm like, this is cool. Like, it was just like, it was cool to me. And I'm just like looking at him, just typing, playing games, doing whatever I want normally. I didn't even see the colors anymore, like moving.
It would almost feel as if like the keyboard was moving, so like it'd be like, where's A now? Is it over
Right?
here or over here?
And the cool part too, with all the lights and stuff like that, with certain games, it'll react exactly to the game. For example, when you hit Overwatch, boom, the lights will turn off and it'll highlight the keys you need.
Oh.
and it'll blink like when your ult is ready.
Okay,
So it'll be,
that's
like,
pretty
bright
neat.
blue going like this. You hit it, and it'll go red when it's charging. And then when it's almost there, it'll start to blink, and then it'll turn back to blue. Like, it's so cool. You can play.
That sounds neat for gaming, for
it's
sure.
so good. It's so gorgeous. And like when you're picking characters, I haven't tried it in Apex yet. I should try that. When you're picking characters in Overwatch, whatever their color scheme is, the keys and everything will change their color scheme.
And that's just built into the game?
That's just built in, yeah. It's like extra code that if you happen to have these type of
Yeah.
peripherals, it'll just work.
It sits there dormant until it sees the right output, and it's like,
yeah.
oh!
It's like, oh, we can do this. I'm like, looking at it, like, let's see. Overwatch is a cool one. Rocket League is a good one. Have you ever played Rocket League?
Yeah. I play it on Xbox, though, not on
That's cool.
computer.
Well, it's crossplay, which is great.
Yeah.
But my keyboard and stuff will react to it. It'll be half and half. And if, like, I'm orange, you're blue, for example, or vice versa, since that's our colors right now.
Get it right, Cruz.
Right, sorry. My keyboard will actually go more blue the more points I have, or more orange the more points you have.
So
switch
it's like
in
an
real
active
time.
scoreboard.
It's super cool, and it's just by lights, like filling up like a meter. So that's really cool with that game. What was another really cool one? Oh, I can install. I have 2 really cool things installed on it. I have an audio visualizer.
Oh, like the just red and green bars.
Mm-hmm. So when it's playing music, it'll react to it real time, and then my tower will start like strobing and stuff like that. It's super cool. It's totally unnecessary, but still super amazing.
It's just cool.
And you can choose what colors are on it too. So I usually have the full rainbow spectrum. So it'll be like red, yellow, green, blue, all the way up to like whatever I set to white. I think is the highest.
Yeah.
And it'll just like go all crazy. And then the other cool thing is that you can install games on the keyboard. So like I can play Snake on my keyboard, like literally on the keyboard.
Oh, okay. I was like, you're using your keyboard as a USB drive, basically?
I'm sure that's possible, honestly, because I have a USB port on the keyboard. I'm gonna look into that. Anyway,
For what?
if you supposedly, so it has an extra 3 ports. So it has a USB, a headphone, and a mic input on the keyboard on the side.
Mm-hmm.
So this way, if the keys are like, say for example, my board's over there, and my mouse doesn't quite reach all the way, I can hook it up to the keyboard itself.
Just wired in.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then it'll read it that way. But I don't ever use that one because I don't need to.
Yeah.
Right. I don't need half the stuff I have on the computer anyway, but
But it's there.
right. But it's there. But syncing it's really cool. So I got off on a tangent. Oh, tinkering. So yeah, that was like one little thing. Like, oh, you could change all this stuff, right? And then I got back into Android. I got a
Mhm.
Google Pixel, and then started learning more about Google Home because I never liked the Alexas, and I never liked the what's the other voice assistant?
Siri?
Siri. I used her a lot when the iPhone first introduced her,
I use Siri a ton.
and loved it at first. But then I started realizing like the stuff that I needed was too specific, and Siri just couldn't do it.
Yeah, that's something I've definitely had to adapt to. Like, I can't get super specific with it.
Yeah.
But, like, I mainly use it to set alarms and stuff.
And that's what I defaulted to, was just doing basic stuff, right?
Well, because, like, the Android assistant, like, you can't tell that thing to do anything.
The Android one, no. But the Google one, I can ask it anything.
Yeah? Like, it can, like, access the functions in the phone? That's cool.
And it'll ask me questions based on it, too. Like, even, like, it'll play games with me. Like, for example, I'm like, I'm bored. It's like, well, what do you want to do? You want to spin the wheel? I was like, yeah, spin the wheel. And you'll hear it spin the wheel. He goes, I randomly picked, let's do Mad Libs. Like, it'll do that randomly. But the cool thing, which leads me to my next point, since we're talking about games and stuff like that, Google is announcing their first entry into the gaming world with the, it's called Google Stadia.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you saw any. It just came out.
No, I haven't heard anything about that one yet.
Little backstory. There's this conference which I've always wanted to go to, and one of these days we'll go. It's called GDC. It's Game Developers Conference, and all like the big gaming companies, Epic Games, like everybody's going. Google went and they announced their entry into the gaming industry, like they want to get into it, and they introduced their console, quote unquote. It's called Stadia, because they're like, whenever you go see a live game, it's in a stadium. It was football, whatever, soccer. Some esports are getting to that point where you can go into a stadium now too. It's like, so they named their system based off of a stadium, so Stadia. What it does is it's a cloud system where you don't need a console. You can log in through Google Chrome because it's all Google.
Yeah.
Log in through Google Chrome. You can play it on a PC. You can play it on a Google Chrome enabled TV. Google Pixel. Phone in general, if you have Google Chrome. As long as you have Chrome, you can log into your games and play it on any device.
But is it going to be cross-platform?
And it's crossplay.
That is what I was going to...
That was like the very last thing they announced. Like, oh, by the way, it will be crossplay. I was like, holy crap. So there's not very many interesting things as far as games go that were announced for it yet. It's still really new. It's not even out yet. But they announced their own controller. The controller is but it has a Google Assistant on it. And it's like, we installed a button on our game controller for Google Assistant in case you're stuck on a certain part of the game. Hit the assistant and ask her whatever you want to know about that level, and she'll answer you. Like, for example, I'm stuck on this puzzle, and she'll bring up like the top like 5 answers. Like, here's how you can get past this puzzle.
I don't know if I like that, though.
That's weird. That's creepy, but super cool.
I mean, I don't find it creepy because it's just looking up things about a game. But I mean, like...
I think it's creepy just for the fact that it's getting smarter. Like, now it can help you solve puzzles in a video game.
I don't think it's going to help you solve puzzles. I think it's going to, like, connect you to a description somebody wrote on Reddit how to beat this puzzle.
The example they gave was exactly that. I just pulled it up like, here's what I found. Like,
yeah, so I wouldn't necessarily say it's getting smarter, but I say it's dumbing down video games.
Possibly.
Because now, like...
It's also the entry. Like, this is just...
Yeah, it's just the beginning. We'll see where it goes. But, I mean, Siri can pull up Reddit right now. But I feel like when you would spend 20, 30 minutes on a game just trying to figure something out until you got frustrated and then looked it up, people are just going to go through games and not have any of the experience. They're going to be like, oh, I tried, failed. Hey, Google.
Yeah, you could. I mean, people already do it with the internet anyway, as it is right now.
Yeah, but now that's just like... I literally don't even have to get up. Like, usually there's
a Wally
something world. Like...
Not Wally World like Walmart, but like...
No, but...
Wally. In case you were confused. Hi, man.
I can see the chairs now.
Yep, pretty much. I had a point with that, though.
Tinkering.
Oh, Google Assistant. So, like, I was like, all right, so now she can help you solve games out, can pretty much access anything. And so the other day I was like, I wonder how my battery's doing on my phone, because it has the quick charge feature on it. 15 minutes will give me about 7 hours worth of battery.
Wow.
It's awesome. And I didn't believe it at first, but I tried it and it's like, it's crazy. And so I was looking up like how to check like on battery performance, and literally every single web page I went to was like, ask your Google Assistant. I was like, what? All right. So I closed it, turned on the assistant. I was like, how's my battery? She's like, give me 1 second, I'll check on it. And she does this whole process. She goes, your battery's fine. I was like, here's the apps that are using the most thing, but other than that, you're functioning at 100% efficiency. I was like, what?
So are you looking into that, worried that rapid charging is kind of hurting the battery?
I was curious about it, yeah, because I, when I got in, I think it was that Google, not Google, that iPhone 6 right there. Like, I was doing better with the battery because the one before that, I would just plug it in and let it go, charge, and then I noticed that the battery was starting to die. Then my mom's phone started really having problems with her battery because she did the same type of thing. So I started kind of looking into it. And most people are like, well, in the older phones, you always wanted to get that maximum. So you always wanted it to go from, like, charge it from pretty much zero, dead to full, so that it knew, like, what its maximum was, right?
Yeah, like cycling the battery.
Yeah. And then it would slowly degrade after that because it's a battery.
Yeah.
And that kind of stuff. And then more people are like, you shouldn't charge your phone overnight, that kind of thing, because it's going to be at 100% for so long. You keep trying to push.
That's the only thing I do, though.
Right, and it's just what we do. And so I was like, I wonder how this one does. So I looked into it, found out I can talk to her about the battery, and she'll check it for me. And I was like, no, you're fine. So I was like looking into more posts about it. And what I found out actually recently, I think it was yesterday, it was like, with the Google Pixel's battery, it's like you no longer need to cycle your battery. You never have to go from 0 to full. With the quick charging feature, charge as much or as little as you want. I was like, skeptical. All right. So I kept looking into it some more, and it's like, no, this is like everyone was like, this is what the battery was built for. This is what it does. Specifically built for quick charge feature to maximize the life and how much charge you have. My battery lasts, if I didn't use it for Game Boy emulators,
Everything.
and YouTube and everything 24/7, it still lasts a full day. But when I'm not doing that, like when I first got it, it would last me 2.5 days before I had to charge it.
Wow.
For a smartphone, damn.
Even mine with like moderate use throughout the day, I take it off at like 7:30, 8 o'clock. I'll hit 10% at like midnight, 12:30.
Nice.
That's like average use in
That's pretty good
a
too.
day.
It's awesome. It has an adaptive feature on it so that it knows like, oh, you rarely use this app. Like, we're just going to turn it off completely until you click on it specifically. It's like, that's cool. Like, tiny little things like that are sweet. But what was the other thing on it? Was something. It was cool.
Something somewhere.
It's just really cool, and I just have fun learning and tinkering with little technical things like computers or assistants and that kind of stuff, and I'm trying to make the house a smart home.
I'm not doing that.
Oh, I'm
I
totally
remember that Disney movie. I'm not doing that.
Oh, and I'm diving head first into that because I'm like, that's cool. And until I got this phone, I didn't like assistants, especially Alexa. I'm like, that thing is creepy,
Oh yeah, it's just listening to you.
right?
I don't even like the Xbox One with the
With the Kinect.
yeah.
The Kinect, like all that stuff. Like I was like, no, that's too creepy. But then I started learning about the assistant on Google, that kind of stuff, and I started looking into it. Like, well, creepiest things that Google Assistant has done. It's always like creepiest things Alexa has done. Like, it's like always the other ones.
Yeah, I mean, Alexia is like laughing at people, but I mean, I don't know. Just
Trying to murder people in their sleep,
just don't hook it up to your door locks.
right? Which I'm totally gonna do.
To each his own, man. To each his own.
If you see on the news that local man dies in smart home, it's totally my fault. But whatever.
The house wouldn't let him out to go shopping.
Yeah,
Wouldn't
right.
let him answer the phone. Wouldn't let him make phone calls.
Turned off the oxygen.
Break a window, man. Come on.
Controls the windows. It will control everything. In
You
my
have
home.
too much trust.
Probably, yeah. But honestly, though, out of all the assistants, that's the only one I do trust.
Huh. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't use Siri for anything super personal, like reminders, stuff like that. So I don't see a need to have one in my home. I think the only other thing I have that's kind of like a Google product is Chromecast, but that's because I don't have a smart TV. So and I'm just broadcasting. I can't ask it to do anything, but it is smart enough. Like, it'll turn my TV on, it'll switch the input to the channel it's plugged into,
Nice.
and it'll play. So
All
it's
the
smart
basic
enough
stuff.
to do that.
Yeah.
But
Just
I'm
that's
good
the
with
start.
that.
Yeah.
It can control the TV enough. It doesn't need to know I've been watching Netflix for 20 hours and
Are you still there?
yeah.
Unfortunately, I'm still
Stop
here.
asking.
We're just making sure. Are you sure you're okay? Here's a number to a crisis hotline.
Starts offering you counseling. We can connect you with an online doctor if you need.
Right? You're like, no, I'm okay.
Pulls up a Skype list to just.
Probably. Yeah, I wouldn't even doubt that.
Are you
But-
feeling okay?
It's cool though, man. Like, I'm slowly integrating it. It's for my parents because my dad does a lot of things, but I want it to be easier for him to do things.
Now, see, that's something I could see when I'm like 60, 70 years old and just
How old do
the
you think my dad
little
is?
things. I don't know. You're older than me, right? You're like 27, 28?
Almost 29 in
Yeah.
2 weeks.
So, I mean, well, I'm adopted, so I'm weird. My mom and dad are in their like early 60s at this
Oh,
point.
okay. Cool.
So,
Good to know.
I don't know, maybe 40, 50?
My dad is 55? Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
So,
not
I
too
mean,
bad.
like, I don't know. I definitely want to stay active longer than the majority of people
Yeah.
do. But I could definitely see later in life when I have a
And
lot less to
he's-
hide and a lot less to care about.
Right. He's always active even now, but I'm like, why are you doing that? Like, come on. Like, so like simple things. For example, he has an automated sprinkler system now, but he has to go downstairs or use his phone. I'm like, well, let's make this one step simpler. Tell Google to turn it on or off and set the timer. So
Yeah.
it'll just automatically do it. Oh, okay, cool. That, control the lights. Like, you want the lights on or off? You want them to go on when your alarm goes on? That kind of stuff. Like, done. Simple
No,
stuff.
the alarm can go off and the lights can stay off for a minute. I'm hitting snooze.
Well, okay, fair enough. And the way I'm going to set mine up, because I just need to get the hub now for it, is that it'll slowly start to turn them on because it can dim them too.
You're gonna have to buy like all new light bulbs.
Yeah, pretty much. But I already started. Like,
Started the conversion process.
yeah, they were on sale, and so I'm like, I can get the bulbs now. Can't use them yet until I get that hub, but I can get it at the cheapest I've seen them so far.
Yeah.
Which are still expensive, but I mean, $10 a bulb, which is expensive. But for a smart bulb that I'll be able to control up
Yeah.
to, I think, 50 at one time.
Whoa.
Yeah, that includes like the regular light bulbs, like the white ones,
Mm-hmm.
the colored ones, all the lighting strips, like the outdoor ones. Like, there's a ton of them. They have so many options. But I want it just so, like, when my alarm goes off, it'll start to slowly turn on, and then it'll be at that point where I'm like, okay, you snoozed for long enough, like, it's
Get
on
up.
now. It's on now. And then if it comes close to, like, you need to be up, like, you should have left like 5 minutes ago, then I'm going to make him turn red and be like, you need to get going now.
Emergency mode.
I just start flashing. Because you can set up these things called routines with it. You're like, okay, if this, then that is actually
Yeah,
a
I
website.
mean-
But
Yeah, it's one of those like, okay, I go to work every day at 6, but I make my coffee at 5:30. So let's turn on the kitchen lights, turn on the coffee pot.
which it can, because it has smart outlets.
It's weird.
It is a little weird, but it's fun. Wow, that was a roundabout way to say that, but yeah, it's really cool. Jaime,
Yes.
what do you find entertaining in your life? Like, when you're having just a day to yourself, what do you feel like doing? Like, to have like fun? Don't say that, you pervert. It's a kids show.
A kids show?
Just kidding. Children do watch this.
I mean, it's on YouTube.
mean,
They watch
depends.
everything on YouTube.
I mean, it depends on, how I'm feeling that day. Like, if I want to be social or not. If I don't, then stick in house, watch a good Netflix show, binge it. Oh, man. There's
Dude.
been a lot. There's been a lot that's been coming out.
They've been doing
great.
kicking butt, man.
Oh, yeah.
Watching
I don't have
shows.
Netflix.
You don't have Netflix?
No.
Hulu?
Nope.
Amazon?
Yes,
Okay.
but I watch like the Grand Tour. I'm not a big TV guy. It is so hard for me to sit down and like watch TV shows.
Actually, I agree with that. I don't do it often, and when I do, I usually just binge it and get it out of the way.
Yeah, like
Umbrella Academy was the most recent one.
yeah, I watched that. That was great. But like, if there's a TV show on TV, which I haven't had cable for years, but I'll watch like the first episode. I'm lucky if I make that week to like the second one because it's already just like I found other things to do.
Yeah, fair enough. That, or even if I'm not necessarily watching TV, I'm usually on my computer either because I have multiple screens, so I usually have YouTube on in one, and I'm usually working on something else.
Yeah, I'll do that with my laptop. I'll be like in my room and have like disc golf on or something like real easy to just have in the background, but I don't sit down and watch a lot of stuff anymore. I don't know how I did as a kid.
Seriously, yeah. I think stuff back then was, first off, simpler. You didn't have like bigger things to worry about. Like,
Yeah,
what do
very
you
true.
what do you really have to do today? It's like, oh, I had to get my homework done, but that kind of
Nah.
or nah. And then you're like, cool, let's watch TV.
Yeah.
But I think even back then, I don't know if it was because of our age or what, but things were, I feel like things were more entertaining. Cartoons were more
I think
entertaining.
Cartoons also in the day were funnier. And I mean, that could just be a relative thing because, like, even... Let's see, what's a good example of a cartoon they've dragged out way too long? Looney Tunes.
Mhm.
Looney Tunes, when we were a kid, was great. Like, you really couldn't... I don't think you could show modern Looney Tunes on TV nowadays.
Mhm.
Because in 6 weeks, somebody would try and drop a piano on their best friend. It doesn't work. But later, I want to say 2009, they started that new Looney Tunes where it was animated. But the
It was like the digital animation. how
Yeah,
everything
yeah.
changed.
and it just looked weird.
Yeah.
And it was just like, okay, but it went from slapstick comedy to like stories. So like you actually had to like kind of know the characters, and like they all like lived in this like community around one another. But it wasn't just like, yeah, this week Daffy Duck gets hit in the face with a plank wood. It was like
All of a sudden they're in the opera. Like, what? Like,
yeah, it went from like just like simple little funny things to like every episode has this long story with like little
it's like its
bits
own
in
universe.
between it. Yeah. I just think that's where TV went and kind of lost me. I like slapstick.
Fair enough. That's cool. I miss a lot of those old shows. They're just fun to watch. Like Courage the Cowardly Dog's probably my favorite cartoon.
Favorite cartoon had to be Invader Zim.
Oh,
I don't know
was so good too.
how Nickelodeon got away with putting that on TV. It was so dark, but it was great.
You know, it technically came back in a comic form.
I have the first 3.
Oh yeah, is it
Yeah.
good? I think I read the first one. That was it.
It's a nostalgia thing. I didn't continue to go and pick them up because after a minute I was just like, I'm going to read these once because it's just kind of like, I love this.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
So that brings up a good point. So we've been talking about fun this whole time, and we've been basically focusing on fun in a game, but I think a lot of like what's been coming up recently was like the Marvel movies, for example.
Mhm.
And a lot of them are so much fun. They're awesome, and I just saw the most recent extended trailer for Shazam.
oh yeah.
That movie looks like it's going to be insanely fun to watch.
I haven't seen the extended version, but the original trailer I saw looked really
It was
good.
Yeah. Oh, how did they? So the original trailer was like, "Don't scream, it's me, Billy." Like on the glass, like that part's extended. So the kid screams. He's like, "No, no, no!" It's like, "It's me. Come outside." He's like, "Okay." And he ends up going out there. He's like, "How do I know you're Billy?" Like kind of going more into it. It's like, "Well, what are your powers?" And he's like, "I don't know. I don't even know how to pee in this thing." So he's like, "You're the only person that knows like about this thing. So help me. I don't know what to do." So he starts like, "Well, what about this, this, and that?" He's like, "Can you fly?" He's like, "I don't know. How do I do that?" He's like, "I read something. It's like you just gotta kind of believe that you can fly." He's like,
Welcome to the Matrix.
"I'm believing," and nothing happened or whatever. But it was like all the extended part, and it's like him just trying to try out his powers. Is what about invisibility? Like they're trying out everything. He's like, "How do I turn it on?" He was like, "I don't know. Believe in that you're invisible." So he's like sitting there. He's like, "Oh my god." He's like, "What?" "Oh my god. Where'd you go?" He's like, "Oh, I'm invisible?" He's like, "I guess. Where are you?" He's like, "Ah, I'm invisible." He really wasn't. He was messing with him the whole time. And then these kids walk by. He's like, "Nice suit." Like, what? He's like, "I was just kidding." It was just a really cool little like extended feature for that little trailer for it. I think it came out in the Aquaman movie. Because it just came out.
I still
digital.
haven't seen the Aquaman movie yet.
It was cool. My girlfriend loves it because Jason Momoa, but you know, overall though, I mean, for what they did for the character of Aquaman, like he's pretty cool now. I
Yeah,
think
he always was kind of like the loser of the bunch, wasn't he?
Mick can talk to fish. We don't fish. Did you know Mick can talk to fish?
Is that true, Jaime? Oh,
They don't
nice.
ever respond to him, but he talks to him.
I love it. I love it.
But if you could have a superpower, what would it be?
Probably telekinesis.
Yeah,
Just because it kind of opens up more doors. Like you don't pick
like
flying.
physically.
yeah, right.
I don't even know that's physically anymore at that point.
So like some people pick like flying. Okay, but with telekinesis, you could basically fly anyways, because you just alter the surroundings of you.
Hmm.
So like you just get more options with it that way. I feel because there's like a little more brain power in that, rather than something like invisibility. I'm invisible already.
And like, how technical would it be? Like, I could turn invisible, but only my skin turns invisible.
Like old school 90s invisibility, you got to take off all your clothes.
Right? Yeah. 'Cause I think that was what, Venture Brothers. Did you ever watch that show?
Yeah, on Adult Swim.
Yeah. How I think it was. Yeah, they had like made fun of the Fantastic Four, and the girl can turn invisible, but it was only her skin.
Yeah, not her
Oh,
clothes.
creepy. So you could like, see her muscles, and it was like, yeah.
I don't even want to know what that would feel like. Like that has to be some type of alteration in your genetic form.
That's weird. Jaime, what power would you have?
Since I recently watched Umbrella Academy, like the whole time travel thing, like 5 has. It was great.
5.
Mhm.
That's cool. I'd be afraid of time travel. Like getting stuck like
yeah,
he did.
like he did. Yeah. But I mean, like the way he just like moved around. And
I
stuff
love
like
how
that.
they
I love
portrayed that.
Yeah.
Like most time travel ones are like in a wormhole, and you see like things like the Flash, for example. Things
Yeah.
are going by. With him, he's just like, just it's just like
He just bends time.
Yeah, just everything moves with him. It was like really fluid. I really like how they did that.
Oh yeah.
That was a good one.
I've always had a hard time picking like what mine would be, but I had a really good friend back when I was at Mines in Golden. We were talking about it one night, and she goes, "You know what your power would be?" I'm like, "What?" She goes, "Storyteller." I was like, "What?" And it's really similar. First superhero I ever had seen had something similar to that. The power she made up for me was the rumor on Umbrella Academy.
Yeah.
So it doesn't work quite the same way like hers does. So with rumor, she has to say, "I heard a rumor," and then the power activated, and whatever she said, happened. The way my friend explained my storyteller one was that because I was really good at like just saying things, and she's like, "I can't read you. Like, I don't know if you're telling me the truth or if you're making this shit up. Like, can't tell."
Just Stonewall.
Right. And I do that at work a lot too, especially to Andrea. I was just, like, she said something the other day, and it was today. She goes, "You have kids?" I was like, "Really?" And I just stared at her. She goes, I don't know. Like, I was like, "Really? We talked about this before." "We did?" And like she was like starting to doubt herself. Never talked about it at all. That was the first time we ever mentioned it. Right, but it's like the way the power worked when my friend made it was like, as long as whatever you say, as long as someone believes that, even if it's a split second, then whatever was that said thing was said came true. I was like, "Oh, cool." So I was like, "So what's my weakness?" She goes, "Your weakness is your power. You can't lie technically, because if you lied and they believe you, then it just happens and it's not a lie. Like, you can screw yourself over."
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, dang." So that would suck, but be amazing at the same time.
It would turn you into a much more honest person at the end of the day.
You have to be,
Yeah.
because, ouch.
Sounds like almost something out of like an older like 90s Jim Carrey movie.
Right? You see him doing that. Which, I don't know why. Maybe just because he's a comedian, but I always thought of like, well, if you had a genie, like Aladdin, for example.
Like Will Smith.
Or a genie in general, but yes. What would your wish be? Or wishes if you had 3?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a hard question too. Because like on Reddit they have a post that's was it Literal Genie, or what is his name? Bro Genie? I can't remember, but he just like kind of does like, "I wish for a ton of money." He's like, "All right," and just like drops a ton of money on you. And
Yeah,
you die.
like weight wise.
I was like, damn, but I was like, well, what would be like the ultimate wish without like breaking the basic rules, like wishing for more wishes, or
Some way to love you or
Yeah.
bringing back the dead.
I was like, I think what I would wish for. What would you wish for first? And I'll tell you mine. If you had like one wish from a genie.
That's a tough one because, like we said, you have to be really specific with it.
Right, and then you're like, well, I don't know, is the genie like literal, or is he like just a kind of friendly like one? Like even in the trailer for Aladdin, he's like, "What do you mean make me a prince? That's vague." It's like, made him a prince. Like,
yeah,
"You wanna
like
see my palace."
I'm gonna run with the idea of just a vague genie because he's handing out wishes. He's probably not a jerk. I just wish for enough money to have a stable life. I think, because I think when you end up in that scenario, there's an easy way to abuse it. Where next thing you know, you've gotten in over your own head on something you thought was gonna be good.
So,
I don't want to ruin my life over one wish.
stable life though, like. See,
I know where a jerk might go with it, but I don't really know how to explain
Fair
it.
enough. No. So I constantly think about like just weird stuff like that all the time, right? And so I finally came up with one, And it's probably, if I even had 3 wishes, I'd probably only use the first one, honestly. And it would be like, I would wish for basically money, but it'd be like, I wish that I'd be able to reach into my pocket and pull out exact change for anything I wanted to buy. This way I couldn't just like
Loads of cash just sitting around.
Yeah, it's just like, all right, like I want to buy that Tesla over there. All right, it's this much. Just reach in my pocket and like.
You know, like every time you open your wallet, the money's just there.
Just exact change, yeah.
So no, we don't have to talk about this because this is could be a very long conversation, pretty off tangent. Do you believe that, let's say you wish for $1 million, does that money come from anywhere, or does it come from somebody else?
Oh, I think the genie would take it from somewhere else. Because I think if I found a genie, I think it would be kind of like all right, like
shifty,
mess with me, kinda.
Shifty person.
Like, what are they gonna do to me? You found out, blah, blah, blah. It's like, I'm a genie. I figured that's what Jaime would probably be my genie. He'd probably mess with me, honestly.
I'd be messing with you.
He'd be the Will Smith. He'd be like, make you a prince.
Done.
There you go. Next wish. Like, crap.
I'm just trying to get my job over with here. Come on. I want to be free.
What was it? It was like even not like. It's just funny too, because like I watch Dragon Ball a lot. Like when they summon the dragon, like they get their wish or whatever too. And it's like there was one episode where the dragon was upgraded. He can give 2 or 3 wishes. I can't remember which one it was at that point in time. They're like, man,
is that like 90s Dragon Ball?
No, that was 1. Like he only gave 1 back then.
Okay.
Towards the
because
end
that's what I watched. Because I watched all that, and then the live action movie with George Lopez came out, and I hated it. And I was like, I cannot do this anymore.
Let's see. So originally he gave 1, and then Kami died, and Dende took over, and Dende upgraded him to have 2 wishes. And I think at this point in time it's 3. It depends on how strong the creator is. Then they have Super Dragon Balls.
So like the person who like gets all the Dragon Balls and summons him, it depends on his power?
It depends on the person who created the Dragon Balls. So the Earth Dragon Balls are watched over by the Guardian of Earth, which is usually a Namekian. And if like Kami was super old, so he's weak. So he's only able to give 1, and the dragon couldn't do anything crazy if it was outside of his creator's power.
Yeah.
For example, yeah, you can wish him back to life, but you can only wish him back once. Like he can't be wished back
you
again.
can't do it again.
But the Namekian dragon, which is like this big buff one, he's like, sure, cool, whatever. What do you want? You have 3 wishes. Wait, what? We have 3?
Yeah, that would throw me for a loop watching the show.
Like, now with the new series, they have the Super Dragon Balls, which are planet-sized, and it summons Super Shenron, and you can literally wish for anything.
I just see like that little spacecraft from Invader Zim that like tries to steal the Earth one day, just dragging Dragon Ball.
That's what it looked like, except it was 6 of them.
Oh God!
It was just pulling them. But I always think of it like that too. Like, well, what's like the limitation of my genie or my dragon? But I think the exact change thing I think would be a cool one.
Yeah.
But that goes back to your question too. Am I just reaching my pocket, taking it from
someone
else, or a vault, or like?
Well, because I mean, science states you can't create nor destroy, and money's got to come from somewhere.
It's true.
Unless he's got a printing press, but let me know.
But I mean, does magic necessarily follow the same rules? Because I like the thought that, like in Thor, he's like magic and science are one and the same for them.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it very much depends on what's going on. Like, in a situation where you're asking for money, like I don't see how he could create money. He could get money from somewhere, but I don't see how he could create money every single time you need it. As in, if it was something more on a mystical level, it's just kind of like an unexplained type of creation, you know?
I had something I was going to go off on that, but I don't remember what it was. But yeah, it's a good point. Huh.
I don't know. I'm thinking in like terms of like energy.
Yeah. Jaime, what would you wish for?
1 million more wishes.
Can't wish for more wishes.
Yes, you can.
Can't break the basic
I'm the
rules.
Genie, okay. You
Oh, he got you there.
Oh, you are the genie. That's right. You know what I wish for? If you were my genie, you know what I wish for?
Oh God.
No, seriously.
Make it quick.
Neuralizer from Men in Black.
Oh my God.
Just forget everything.
Yeah, you know why?
Why?
My glasses on, I'd blast the genie. Hey, you have 3 wishes.
Oh my God. I'm done.
I do
I'm
2
done.
wishes, blast him again. Hey, he got 3 wishes.
Did they?
I'm not wishing for more wishes. You just can't remember.
You just can't remember anything for the past 24 hours.
Now what? Genie?
Has the FDA approved a nebulizer yet?
Not gonna ask my genie
God,
for one.
right.
I know. I remember in Men in Black there was a scene where they were talking about that being unhealthy,
Right,
flashing people's memories away.
I want to watch that new one's coming out soon too.
There's another one?
Oh yeah, they did they're remaking it kinda. It's Men in Black International. It takes place in London, the London branch.
Okay, that could be interesting.
Agent K and J are like well known still. Like, oh yeah, we remember that time. It's Thor and Valkyrie are the 2 main characters.
Ooh, I want to go and
It
see
looks
that.
awesome.
That's
It
cool.
looks super awesome.
Yeah, I haven't watched any of the Men in Black movies in a while.
I know, they were super funny. Be cool. But hey man, thanks for being on.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Appreciate you. That was a good convo.
Yeah, it was great. It's fun. Thanks, Jaime.
Yeah, thank you, man.
No problem.